Hello everybody! Welcome to my top 10 favorite games. I'm so excited to film this, but I'm also a little bit nervous. I've been working on my top 10 for a while now, and a while ago I posted my top 10 solo board game videos, and those just came very easily to me. I feel very comfortable with my solo games. I do play mostly solo, but I do play with friends a lot as well. But I have never really dived into the more heavier side of the board game hobby, which makes me feel like this top 10 is more boring than my solo top 10. Like, this will not have mind-blowing games that people have never heard of before. So, you know what I'm saying? So this felt more, a little bit more scary for me to post this video, because I feel like people are gonna be like, well, those games are boring. But, you know, I do really want to make this video and I love talking about games. So we're just gonna make this top 10 and I'm gonna have a good time. So let's get into my top 10 games. Let's go. First, of course, with every top 10 video, we have to do some honorable mentions. So I have two honorable mentions. My first one is Lorcana, which, I mean, might not come as a surprise. I absolutely love Lorcana. It is probably my favorite TCG. Sorry, Magic fans. I love Magic as well, but I mean, I'm such a huge Disney fan that when they came out with Lorcana, I was just, wow. I pre-ordered straight away for the first release. It was so amazing. I love it. It's great. It's not technically a board game, so we're putting it in the honorable mentions, but I love playing it. I play it with friends. It's great. If you haven't heard of it before, it's like Magic, sort of, but it's a TCG, but it's Disney. Need I say more? Okay. Second honorable mention I have is more like a category than a specific game. I will link a few of my favorites down below, but it is like mystery games. So this is just one of my favorite things to do with friends. The reason it's not in my top 10 is because it's not really like a board game that you bring to the table every time. So I put it in honorable mention, and that is more like mystery games, like crime games, or like the Exit series games. But those are like one play games, like you play it once and then you're done. I mean, obviously you can replay it in a while after like time has gone by, but if you remember the story or the end result, it's less fun to play because you've solved the mystery before, you know what I'm saying? But there's a few that I really, really enjoy, and one is like the Mystery of Rottermereye. I'll put it on the screen. It's a Dutch designed game with a bunch of Dutch illustrators that made it, which is just incredible. The game is entirely in English, so it's not a Dutch language game, but it is designed by a Dutch company that mostly does illustration, so they only have one mystery game that they've come out with, but I love it so much. Also because the artwork is just stunning. It adds so much to the gaming experience, and we played it with friends, like in summertime, in the evening around a fire outside, and it was just such an incredible experience I will never forget. And more recently, I've played a true crime mystery game by Big Potato Games, which has 3 mysteries in the box, so that's really good. And it was very, very fun. I've only played the first mystery so far from that one, but I already know that it's incredible, and it also has beautiful artwork. That's a downside for me always with the mystery games, that most that you find online have like photographs and stuff, which I guess adds to it feeling real, but I just want beautiful artwork when I'm playing a game, so that's why. All right, let's move on to the actual top 10. Number 10, I mean, all of these games, this is my thing with top 10s, like all of them are so good that it feels like it's difficult to put them in the top 10 order because all of them are amazing. Okay, number 10, Cascadia. I love this game. Many of you might, if you've seen my solo top 10 video, Calico is like number 1 in there, and Cascadia obviously is quite similar when it comes to like the puzzly tile placement element of the game. The reason this is not as high is because Calico is better. Simple as that. And also because I feel like Cascadia shines more in the multiplayer than it does in the solo. I do love playing it solo, and I have played it solo a lot, but I do feel like the multiplayer, it's such a great like family game to play with friends. It's very like easy to get into. I've introduced it to a lot of people. Everybody I've played it with loves it. It's just an incredibly beautiful game and very, very fun to play. You basically have like a tile placement puzzle aspect where you're trying to create like habitats for animals, and some tiles can only have one animal and some can have multiple, and you're trying to score as many points, and each animal has a different scoring system, so you're trying to maximize points by placing animals in certain ways, which it has like a double puzzle element. So you have the tile placement, which has like the habitats, and then you have these animal tokens that go on top of the habitat tiles, which also score you points. So it's like a double puzzle. Absolutely wonderful, absolutely amazing. Number 9, we have Ex Libris, which is a gorgeously designed game about libraries and books, which, I mean, we all know that I love books. So great game. It is very puzzly as well because you're trying to build your library with cards that have gorgeous book covers on them, and you are trying to have your library in alphabetical order. So every card has a letter on it, and you're trying to place it in a way that makes the most sense. And you're scoring points in a whole bunch of different ways, different types of books, banned books. You have like a specialty for your library that scores you extra points, and all sorts of fun stuff. The game has some great like character specific actions. So you can play, everybody has like a different character that they have as a librarian, and they have like a specific action to that librarian that mixes up the gameplay a little bit, which I think is very fun. And the artwork is just stunning, and I love books. Need I say more? Number 8, we have a very, very fun game at number 8, which is Betrayal at the House on the Hill. This game is probably familiar to a lot of you guys. It is an amazing horror game that works, I mean, you can't play it solo, and it works amazing with a group of friends. The thing I love about this game so much is that it has, how do I explain this? So in this game, you are a group of people and you're exploring a haunted house, or at least an abandoned house. And halfway through the game, or like at a certain point in the game, first you're just like exploring the house together, you're finding items, you're finding traps, stuff is happening, but then something triggers, and one of the people playing is a betrayer. But you don't know this at the start, so nobody knows who the betrayer is, not even the betrayer themselves, because there's game-specific things that trigger the second phase, and like based on whichever card you flipped and in which room you are, that tells you in like the rules who is going to be the betrayer and which scenario you're going to play. Because there's a bunch of different scenarios with a bunch of different like monsters, and it's just so fun and it's so incredible. There's like one scenario that's like inspired by Lord of the Rings, where you find the ring and the person that finds the ring is the betrayer, and they are like invisible to the rest of the group, stuff like that. It's just absolutely incredible. It's so fun to play. I mean, I think even players who don't really know board games very well, and it might seem quite big and overwhelming, but the gameplay is very easy. And once you go to the second phase, as long as you're not the betrayer, obviously, but you can like work together with the rest of the group, so it won't feel like you're like on your own doing stuff, which I think is a great way to introduce this to newer players even. It's just, as I've said, it's just very fun. Number 7, we have Sagrada. It is one of my favorite games. I love puzzle games, for those who didn't figure that out yet. I love a puzzle element. It just, I don't know, it tickles something in me and it feels so good. The dice in this game are gorgeous, and it is based, or the theme is based on the Sagrada Familia, so the church in Barcelona, and you are basically laying a glass window for the church. So you have all these dice in different colors, and you're placing them in a little window area that everybody has its own window area, and there are certain rules for how you can place the dice. So the same color can't be next to each other, and the same number on the die cannot be next to each other. And it's just great fun. It's quick, it's beautiful, it has a puzzle element. I think it's a wonderful, beautiful game, and it will never leave my collection, and it might even stay in my top 10 until the end of time. Who knows? I just love it so much. Number 6. This is a newer addition to my collection, but it often is the case that with newer games I'm just obsessed, and I just keep playing that game because it's new and I love it and it's great. And that is the White Castle, which is just such a gorgeous game. So beautiful. It's a bit on the heavier side, but not, I wouldn't say it's very heavy. Once you've played it a couple times and you know what's what, it's quite easy. But it is very quick and analysis paralysis heavy. So if you quickly have analysis paralysis, and you find that annoying, this might not be the game for you. It is more Euro stylish in gameplay, and I don't know, it's just gorgeous. It's basically a dice placement / worker placement game where you're trying to score the most points by placing workers in and around Himeji Castle. And I could go in depth in how the gameplay works, but it's better to watch a video because I cannot explain that game in a short amount of time. It's annoying to explain. It's a difficult one. But I've made a video with a solo playthrough, or if you just want some explanation video, there's many online that are really great, that are short. So if this seems like something you would enjoy, I advise going to watch one of those. Number 5, we have Wormspan. I mean, that game has a special place in my heart. Wingspan already has a special place in my heart. That is just one of the games that I feel like it was one of the more heavier games I got into in the hobby, and it is just, wow, it is so good. I love that game. But I love Wormspan even more because it has dragons. I mean, who doesn't love dragons? And I just feel like the gameplay is better. It's tighter, it's more, I don't know. It just feels nicer when you're playing, to me personally. So I do prefer Wormspan, but I don't feel like it replaces Wingspan. I will not like get rid of Wingspan because I now have Wormspan. I feel like it's still such a great and beautiful game, but Wormspan for me is definitely superior. And friends of mine love it. It's, yeah, great game. Number 4, we have the Quest for El Dorado. Gorgeous game. It is a card... Number 4, we have the Quest for El Dorado, which is just a beautiful game. It is a deck building game, which is one of my favorite mechanisms of all time in board games. It's so fun to play. Everybody I've introduced it to loves it. It's very easy, but I do like that it's a bit more lengthy when you're playing it. Definitely when you play on the like more harder difficulty levels. But it's beautiful. You're exploring the jungle, I guess, trying to reach the gold city of El Dorado. And it is as I've said, a deck building game. So you have these like explorers that are trying to guide you through the jungle. And you need more of those the further you get along, or more experienced explorers, I guess, that know the jungle better to help you through it. And those are the cards that you're using, and it is just very, 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 very fun. Number 3, we have Obsession, which for a long time has been definitely a number 1 spot. I feel like the top 3 here is all kind of tied with each other. They're just my 3 favorite games of all time. So on the 3rd place here we have Obsession. Such a gorgeous game. It has basically every mechanism that you would want, basically, almost. It has worker placement, it has deck building. It is so gorgeous. It has like a tile placement element, not really puzzly, but it does have tile placement. And I love the theme. I am a huge sucker for like Pride and Prejudice and things in that era. Bridgerton, I mean, that you can't really compare that to Pride and Prejudice, but still, I love both. And this game is very much that theme, where you're courting like one of the rich people, and you're trying to host events to gain their favor and invite them over to your manor. And your family, you have like cards that's like a family, but also guests. And those are trying to help you to score as many points as you can by hosting these activities that you're trying to host to gain favor for the one person that you're recording and that you're trying to marry, essentially. So yeah, great game. It's great. The designer, Dan Halligan, what a man. He's amazing. I love him. He's so nice. He's great. Yes. Number 2, we have a game that everybody knows, and that is Everdell. I know a lot of people are probably a little bit over this game, but I love it, and I will forever love it. And this game has a very, very special place in my heart. It is one of my most played games with my friends. My friends love this game. I love this game. We have been playing it for years. We still bring it to the table with or without expansions. It's just so beautiful. The artwork is probably my favorite artwork in any game that I own. I mean, Andrew Bosley is just the MVP. He does what he does so well. And I just want almost like every game to be designed by Andrew Bosley. Because it's so cute and so beautiful. And I tell this to anybody I play this game with that hasn't played it yet. That every like building, like if you know the game, every building has a like forest animal that matches that building. So for example, the shop has a little like bunny or like a hare, and that works in the shop. And then you have a cart with like the shopkeeper, and they like match together, and that is with every building card it has a matching like forest animal, but every building card with the artwork has that animal in it somewhere in that card, sometimes even like very distantly in the distance, very small, sometimes more prominent, but so incredible. I love that detail so much. And yeah, here we are, the number one game that I have in my collection for now. I mean, this will probably change. As we all know, this changes for everybody, you know, in due time, in due course. But for now, my number one game of all time is Clank. Clank is just so great. And again, I love deck building. Deck building for me is just such a fun mechanism. I love it. It feels good. It feels nice. I don't know what it is. I just love having cards, playing a card, doing like movement actions. And the theme of this is amazing for me because it is a dungeon theme crawl game, like a dungeon crawler theme, where you're in a dungeon, there's a dragon, you're trying to get treasure and trying to get the hell out of there as quick as you can before the dragon kills you. Perfect. Say less. That's all I want in life. It's amazing. And it's a deck builder. That's it. That's all I need. Voila. I really want to play Clank Legacy, but I need someone to consistently want to play that with me. So we're gonna have to see. I'm hoping at some point maybe that will happen, but for now it hasn't happened yet. But that will probably be such an incredible experience for me. I can't even imagine what that's gonna be like. I can't even comprehend what that's gonna be like. So I'm excited for the time when that will happen and that I'll be able to play Clank Legacy. Please, God, let it happen at some point. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I think this will be maybe like an annual thing that'll make a top 10 and a top 10 solo board games, because it's fun and because I do think in a year it will have changed maybe quite a lot, maybe not, who knows. It will be fun maybe as an experiment to see how different it will be or how similar. I think that will be interesting. I hope this was fun to watch. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye!